Oh hey, I didn't see you there. Isn't it amazing how friction works? What do you mean you don't know what friction is?
Okay.
Well, let's find out. Friction is the surface resistance to relative motion. We usually measure and understand it as a reactionary force. It is only when two adjacent bodies rub against each other that a frictional force occurs. The formula used for calculating frictional forces is the coefficient of friction times the normal force being applied. Or fun! This means that having more mass or a higher coefficient of friction between the surfaces will cause more friction, which leads to energy dissipation, which usually leads to stopping or more force required to move. For instance, wheels on cars only move the vehicle because of friction. Without it, the car would just slide along at constant velocity or never even start moving. The resistance to motion provided by friction is what allows us to change the direction and speed of our vehicles.
What? But that's completely irrelevant to my everyday life.
Well, what's something you do every day?
Well, from 4 to 5 every day, I like to push my hand against a cheese grater. Is that friction?
Well, maybe, because whenever you push your hand against the cheese grater, you're exerting a force, and the cheese grater exerts a reaction by making your hand bleed.
Here, you want to try?
Okay, let's stop and look at this situation very carefully and use our noggins. For the sake of this investigation, we'll assume that the friction between the cheese grater and our hand is what causes us to bleed. But then, why is it that when we stop running, our feet don't bleed? It's the same thing, isn't it?
As you can see, my body mass is the same in both trials, meaning I have the same normal force, but the coefficient of friction between the floor and I is way less than the coefficient between the carpet and I.
If you are wondering how friction could ever apply to a real-life job in physics or engineering, you could just think about aerodynamics. Their entire job is making sure that friction doesn't damage the vehicle or whatever it is and helps it move along.
What? But that's completely irrelevant to my everyday life.
Well, what's something you do every day?
Well, from 4 to 5 every day, I like to grate my hand against the cheese.
You may be wondering, how could any... Wait. What? All of this is irrelevant to your daily life? Well, you may find yourself wondering sometimes in your everyday life. Well,